All right, all right.
The law-abiding citizen says, at least I didn't murder or cheat. We heard people say that. At least I didn't kill nobody. See, there are some law-abiding citizens that I think that if they can avoid breaking the big laws, they'll be all right. I think I may be getting into your neighborhood here, amen? They call their everyday itty-bitty lies white lies, amen? They rush past somebody in need and they say they had an important appointment to keep. They didn't want to get interrupted, amen? They will cuss you out if they get mad enough and write it off as having a bad day. They know you need it. They have it to spare and won't give it to you because they don't feel like bothering with you. And they think that they will get to the pearly gates of heaven and say after their record is read, well, at least I didn't murder nobody or cheat on anybody, amen? They picked and chose which laws to abide by and abided by them well. But beloved, if you break any part of the law, you have broken the whole law, amen? I know what you're thinking. I can't do that. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that's too hard, Pastor, amen? Once we realize that, we have to conclude that being a law-abiding citizen is not enough to be justified in God's eyes. Oh, I'm glad this morning that just because we would not follow or could not follow every part of the law completely, God didn't let us drown in our sin. I'm glad this morning that just because we couldn't get or stay good enough, God didn't leave us without a way to get out and get right with Him. I'm glad this morning that just because our good wasn't good enough, God didn't rub His hands together and eradicate us all and start over again with perfect people who know how to act right. Yeah, you didn't murder or cheat, but that doesn't make you right with God. Jesus' death and resurrection and our belief and acceptance of that fact makes us right with God. No more, no less. Church, no one is good enough. No one is good enough. We still needed Christ to die for us. We all need God's grace. The folly of the law-abiding citizen is that they think they're good enough without having to rely upon God's grace and mercy. Church, if the law could save us, we wouldn't need Jesus. If we all follow the letter of the law, Jesus Christ would not have had to go to the cross. If we could follow the law completely, we would need to have the law written down and posted on the side of the road. And Jesus would not have needed to make that condemned death march to a place called Golgotha. But we couldn't do it. The law condemns us, meaning it finds us guilty, low down, dirty, and grimy. We look at the law and know there is no good. Amen. We look at the law and know that we're no good. The law looks at us and sees fallen, forsaken people. And we would have stayed that way on a bullet train headed straight to hell with gasoline doused underwear on. Amen. But God did something different, amen? We would have had no hope in our future. We would have had no help in our present. And we wouldn't have had any forgiveness for our past. And along came Jesus. And we were wallowing in the sin that we were in. And along came Jesus. The lights came on. The music was still playing. We were still dancing, amen? And along came Jesus. And where the law was insufficient, God's grace and and mercy provided that once perfect salvific act made manifest on Calvary's cross and fulfilled 3 days later when he got up with all power in his hands. Our best isn't good enough. Our good isn't good enough.